necessary push behind them. Both of them cursed me roundly for not bringing them a canteen of water, though they were well aware that in an emergency like the present our foreman would never give a thought to anything but the recovery of the herd. Our comfort was nothing. Men were cheap, but cattle cost money. We reached the camp about 2 o'clock, and found the outfit cutting out range cattle which had been absorbed into the herd during the run. Throwing in our contingent, we joined in the work, and though Forrest and Quarternight were as good as afoot, there were no orders for a change of mounts, to say nothing of food and drink. Several hundred mixed cattle were in the herd, and after they had been cut out, we lined our cattle out for a count. In the absence of Priest, Flood and John Officer did the counting, and as the hour of the day made the cattle sluggish, they lined through between the counters as though they had never done anything but walk in their lives. The count showed 16 short of 2,800, which left us yet over 300 out. But good men were on their trail, and leaving 2 men on herd, the rest of us obeyed the most welcome orders of the day, when Flood intimated that we would eat a bite and go after the rest. As we had been in our saddles since 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning before, it is needless to add that our appetites were equal to the spread which our cook had waiting for us. Our foreman, as though fearful of the loss of a moment's time, sent Honeyman to rustle in the horses before we had finished our dinners. Once the remuda was corralled under the rush of a tireless foreman, dinner was quickly over, and fresh horses became the order of the moment. The Atascosa, our nearest water, lay beyond the regular trail to the west, and leaving orders for the outfit to drift the herd into it and water, Flood and myself started in search of our absent men, not forgetting to take along 2 extra horses as a remount for Blades and Priest. The leading of these extra horses fell to me, but with the loose end of a rope in Jim Flood's hand as he followed, it took fast riding to keep clear of them. After reaching the trail of the missing cattle, our foreman set a pace for 5 or 6 miles which would have carried us across the Nueces by nightfall, and we were only checked by Moss Strayhorn riding in on an angle and intercepting us in our headlong gait. The missing cattle were within a mile of us to the right, and we turned and rode to them. Strayhorn explained to us that the cattle had struck some recent fencing on their course, and after following down the fence several miles, had encountered an offset, and the angle had held the squad until the Rebel and Blades overtook them. When Officer and he reached them, they were unable to make any accurate count because of the range cattle amongst them, and they had considered it advisable to save horseflesh and not cut them until more help was available. When we came up with the cattle, my bunkie and Blades looked wistfully at our saddles, and anticipating their want, I untied my slicker, well remembering the reproof of Quarternight and Forrest, and produced a full canteen of water, warm of course, but no less welcome. No sooner were saddles shifted than we held up the bunch, and cut out the range cattle, counted, and found we had some 330-odd circle dots, our number more than complete. With nothing now missing, Flood took the loose horses and 2 of the boys with him and returned to the herd, leaving 3 of us behind to bring in this last contingent of our stampeded cattle. This squad were nearly all large steers, and had run fully 20 miles before, thanks to an angle in a fence, they had been checked. As our foreman galloped away, leaving us behind, Bob Blades said, "Hasn't the boss got a wiggle on him today? If he had made this old world, he'd have made it in half a day and gone fishing in the afternoon, if his horses had held out." We reached the Atascosa shortly after the arrival of the herd, and after holding the cattle on water for an hour, grazed them the remainder of the evening, for if there was any virtue in their having full stomachs, we wanted to benefit from it. While grazing that evening, we recrossed the trail on an angle, and camped in the most open country we could find, about 10 miles below our camp of the night before. Every precaution was taken to prevent a repetition of the run. Our best horses were chosen for night duty, as our regular ones were too exhausted. Every advantage of elevation for a bed ground was secured, and thus fortified against accidents, we went into camp for the night. But the expected never happens on the trail, and the sun arose the next morning over our herd grazing in peace and contentment on the flowery prairies which border on the Atascosa. Chapter 5